Welcome to another episode of Chat Sports Talk. And here we go again. How many times have I said this already in the past few months? The college football or college realignment landscape continues to change and evolve. It is official. The ACC has elected to extend invitations to Cal, Stanford, and SMU to join the ACC, making them an 8-team-member conference like the Big Ten. But they'll only have 17 in football because Notre Dame won't play a full ACC schedule. These three schools were also pushed by Notre Dame to get added. Now, there's still some schools within the ACC that are not quite keen on going this direction. But look at the academic standards Stanford and Cal bring already to a highly academic conference of the ACC. Now, will this really help them keep the conference alive when their grant of rights and media deals expire? I highly doubt it, because there's still rumblings of Florida State and Clemson trying to wiggle out and try to maybe go SEC or Big 12. But this will definitely make the ACC a all-coastal conference, joining the likes of the Big 10 and almost Big 12, and ensuring that conferences are no longer a regional aspect. It has now become a national brand to ensure their games are televised in every time zone in the continental U.S. What does this mean for Washington State and Oregon State? In fact, the century-long Pac conference. It's dead. The conference of champions, the conference that has the most championships, their own egos got in the way. There's reports out there that a $30 million per team deal was presented by ESPN, and Stanford and Cal rejected it. They were hoping to get more. This led to the demise of the conference, and they became, fodder for everyone else. The only conference that did not get into that game was SEC. Because once USC, UCLA left, I think the SEC looked at the rest of the conferences. Yeah, they're good. There's not SEC quality in their eyes. But back to the Washington State, Oregon State matter. This weird and outrageous scenario playing out. I mean, it makes my revisited of the mega conferences video seem moot at this point in time. But I think Washington State, Oregon State is going to find themselves struggling to find a home. Them going independent, a pirate, is not a viable option. They're not going to attract much in terms of revenue, and they'll probably see the revenue even decrease even further than what they already have now. I think invitation by the Big 12 is highly unlikely as well. I think the Big 12 wants to go into California, and I don't see San Diego State and Fresno State moving yet from the Mountain West. So for the Beavers and the Cougars, it looks like either the Mountain West or the American are their likely landing spots, taking a huge pay cut in going to these conferences. Now, I think the American makes more sense now, especially if SMU is able to get out of their particular deal. So it gives the American a coast-to-coast aspect as well. The Mountain West makes more sense geographically, and gives them with other like-minded athletic programs, as in Fresno State, Boise State, San Diego State, Utah State, Air Force. So talent-wise, this should do a lot better in the Mount, comparable talent-wise in the Mount West. There we go. English hard this morning. I think them going to Mount West makes the most absolute perfect sense. It's geographically, they could Boise State, Washington State can have a close relationship and a rivalry, much like Washington State, Idaho kind of did when Idaho was in the FBS. Yeah, I know this is a huge pay cut for these two programs. Maybe they can work out some deal where they get a little bit more than the rest of the Mountain West, so the cut is not that deep, but deep enough to make them make some financial strains and maybe not get that new gym equipment for their training rooms, or maybe not, come up with a fifth jersey for the football team. So what does the American do? I think the American is going to be down one, so they're going to look to add one more, at least one more. Now with the American, they tend to find universities that are in or near large metro areas. So looking at the rest of that, the rest of the available schools, Army could be a possibility, but Army and Navy would not be in the same conference, so you can go ahead and cross them off. UConn, bring them back in as football only. I think that one is dead in the water as well. As someone's put it, and one of my other threads, I think on Twitter, you're not going to, reconnect with the next. Now, people do all the time. I know I have. Didn't pan out either. So, I don't think UConn will be added. UMass, quality is not there. So, that takes care of your three independent programs. So, now you start looking at the MAC. Probably not. I think Buffalo might be the best option. Or possibly Toledo. Miami. I think those three would probably be, considered, but I don't think they'll go there. But we kind of need to kind of see the American go into the north instead of the south, and get a school somewhat close to Temple is probably more needed than adding another team south. That's just my opinion. So I put Buffalo a little bit ahead of them all, but I still think Buffalo is outside looking in. The Sun Belt schools you kind of look at probably be James Madison, Appalachian State, Georgia Southern, and Arkansas State. I think all four of those would be considered. Arkansas State with the rivalry with Memphis and their association with North Texas. Georgia Southern, Appalachian State, James Madison. These are three former FCS powerhouses. Appalachian State and James Madison are part of the top two. I don't think they go Appalachian State because they're in western North Carolina. They already got two teams there. I don't think they'll go Georgia Southern either. Not close enough to a big enough area. James Madison they probably will consider because of what that school has done in terms of athletics. And if they were eligible last year, they would have been in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game. So I think James Madison probably be top of the list, even though it's not near a huge metro area, but does give a school close to Temple. For Conference USA, there's a slew here. Old Dominion, Middle Tennessee, Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State, and Louisiana Tech. I think all of them will be considered. Old Dominion in Norfolk, Virginia, also a stone between Temple and East Carolina. Makes sense geographically. May not go there either. Middle Tennessee, outside of Nashville, fits their MO of near huge metro areas. But I don't think Middle Tennessee would not go without ensuring a path for Western Kentucky to get added. Jacksonville State, another quality former FCS school that has upset FBS programs. Most recently, they've done it to Florida State, but not near a metro area. But I think Jacksonville State will still be considered because of what they are right now. Kennesaw State, the newer addition coming to Conference USA outside of Atlanta. What's hurting them is stadium. They don't have a large enough, I think, venue for the American to really consider Kennesaw State being added. And then Louisiana Tech, also not in a huge metro area, but Shreveport is down the road a bit. Puts a school back out west to replace SMU, which I think will be a high priority for him to kind of try to balance out the schedule one bit. And then going back to Sunbelt, I totally forgot Georgia State. I just kind of left them hanging. I think Georgia State will be considered because it's in Hotlanta. They have a decent stadium for them to utilize. That gets them into the huge metro area of Atlanta. I think Georgia State will probably be number one. And back to Conference USA, Florida International, outside of Miami. Great parent FAU, but like Appalachian State, it'll be a third school in a state. This one being Florida, of course. I highly doubt they dip their toe 3 times in the pool. Down there in Sunshine State. And I think there's 2 FBS or FCS programs that they will consider as well. And that's Delaware and Central Arkansas. Now, Central Arkansas is outside of Little Rock and Conway. They can go down to War Memorial to play their games, hopefully. And then at that time frame, maybe get to build up their campus stadium to kind of match the vibe, and then kind of go back there. It's a possibility. Delaware, another program that also has a lot of FCS success. Kind of makes sense for them as well. Plus, it gives Temple literally a neighbor they can throw rocks at and hit. And it really, make Temple feel more at home. And there's a few other ones you could probably throw in there. Maybe the Dakotas, like North Dakota State, South Dakota State. That's a little outside of their umbrella. But when does that stop conference realignments? Just look at the Big Ten, ACC. So the Dakotas, I think, are on the outside looking in as well, but I think they will be considered. So schools I think they will really go after is probably James Madison, Jacksonville State, Georgia State. I think would be their first priority, which doesn't really make sense. I think James Madison or Jacksonville State should be up there. I think Louisiana Tech is going to be up there as well, probably tied with Georgia State as number 1. And I think Delaware. I think Delaware has a shot. I think Central Arkansas, a little bit outside looking in. Same thing with Arkansas State, I think. I think both of them are kind of paired together in terms of that. But I think either the American tries to find a school out west to replace SMU, or just go ahead and go east and go like Delaware, make Temple happy, or James Madison, someone close by to them. So, at least have one close rival they can easily travel to. But it just kind of leads things in weird directions. I mean, it's... And then what does the Conference USA do if they get plucked? Or what does the Sun Belt do if they get plucked? I mean, it's a constant domino where things kind of play out. I think if a Sun Belt team goes, I think they'll try to get Chattanooga to finally make the jump. If a Conference USA school goes, they're probably looking at Eastern Kentucky, Stephen F. Austin, maybe the Dakotas as well to kind of, fill in the void. So there's a few areas where these conferences could go to kind of fill in the blanks. But to recap, Stanford, Cal, and SMU have been extended invitations to join the ACC. I am sure that they will all, definitely Stanford and Cal will accept because they really have no home afterwards. Washington State, Oregon State will be left holding the Pac-12 flag. They might as well just burn it. The Pac-12, the Pac will be officially dead starting next year. Their best bet is to take a huge pay cut, maybe get a little bit a sweetheart deal with the Mountain West, where the rest of the schools maybe take $1 million less to make sure the Washington State and Oregon State gets a little bit extra money, and then go to the Mountain West, which makes more sense for them regionally and talent-wise. The American will then at least expand by one team. Now, I think part would be either Louisiana Tech, Georgia State, or Delaware. I know those are three really weird ones that can really consider. But if, say, Louisiana Tech leads, say, if conferences they lose one, probably seeing if Austin would probably be the number one target, or Eastern Kentucky. And then for the Sun Belt, it's either Chattanooga or Eastern Kentucky themselves. I think they'll both. I think Eastern Kentucky would be considered either way. I think the Dakotas plan to move up may start to come to more fruition. Maybe the Montanas will consider that as well, joining the Mountain West and really making the Mountain West a huge conference. Who knows? Every time I put out a video, something else happens and just totally throw things out the window. So let me know what you think about the ACC becoming an all-coastal conference. Do you think these coastal conferences are here to stay? Are they viable for the survival of college athletics? What does this do with the college football playoff? I already know what I think is going to happen. They're going to drop the conference champions down to 5. Leaves you 7 at large. I think that's the only way you can do it. It guarantees your big 4 and then one group of 5. I think that's the only way they're going to do it. They'll probably at least guarantee the Big 10, SEC at least 2. But anyways, like I said, let me know down below what you think, and try to be civil, carry on conversation. Really helps the algorithms out here on YouTube. Once you do that, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, especially like the content provider. Really, pleases YouTube gods. You also subscribe. Make sure you click that bell icon, turn notification, let you know next time I post any more content on my channel. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.